What's going on, good people? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? How we doing this morning? Coming to you straight from Good Vibes Daily 71. Um, I wanted to talk to you this morning because I had something on my heart and I wanted to talk about it as soon as possible because it was weighing heavily on me after talking to a friend this morning on my drive in. And so what I wanted to talk about was relationships, right? And not about relationships, but um, who are you getting relationship advice from, right? Who are you talking to when you have a concern, a problem, intricacies involving your relationship? That could be romantic, it could be friends, it could be parental relationships, whatever the situation is. Who are you going to when you feel like you're overwhelmed, need advice, or just need some comforting, whatever the situation is? I want to be honest about something. You know, on this channel, on this page, we deal with encouragement. We deal with from a position of love. We want to inspire. We want to motivate as much as possible. But I want to be clear. My stance on getting advice on your relationship is you want to really limit that to just a chosen couple, not even a chosen few. Again, personally, a chosen couple of people. And I'll tell you what my list is. First, you want to go to God with it. You want to go to God with it, okay? Secondly, if you guys want to share any experience of going to a therapist where both sides of you are being interpreted and listened to, great. You want to go to a clergy person, a pastor, a reverend, a father, whatever the case is, a deacon in the church that you trust and have a good relationship with. But it can't be somebody that one person has a relationship with and the other person doesn't. That's having part of the issue and the problem, okay? It gotta be a impartial person that neither one of you know, okay? As far as if you go into an outside person, like a clergy, a therapist, those individuals, they shouldn't know you in that respect. If they know you, then they know both of you, okay? And then the last one is a really close friend that is in support of your relationship. That's the key. A close friend or family member who is in support of your relationship. Okay? Let's be clear about that. That's probably the most important part of it. Okay? Now, let's get to the nitty-gritty. So, if you do decide that you're going to not take my advice and go to those people and do your own thing, that's fine. But I want to make sure you're getting into the right situation, okay? So, if you go to a friend, a family member, or whomever about this relationship problem, okay? And they're listening to you, they're being very attentive, they got their listening ears on, and they're taking in all the information, that's awesome. And then, after that, they want to start giving you advice on how to proceed, what to do, and how to do it. Again, you want to listen, take it in, but the one thing, and this to me is really a telltale sign of whether or not you're getting some decent to good advice. And this is what And this is what draws the line in the sand. This is what delineates the good from the bad, okay? The person you go into and talking to is all they say to you is, so this is what they should be doing. They mean the other party in the relationship. This is what they should be doing. This is how they should be doing it. This is what you should allow them to do. You want to watch for them doing this and watch for them doing that. All of that may be good advice. But I got to be honest with you. It's not good advice if all you are hearing is what the other person should be doing, what the other person shouldn't be doing, what the other person should have a grasp on. If all you're hearing is that, you're not getting good advice. You're not getting the best advice. And you know how I know that? Because if there's no introspection, there's no looking into what you are doing, if that's never brought up or asked, how did you react to that situation? What did you do in that moment? What did you say? If there's no looking at your part in the relationship, your perception of the relationship, no self-awareness in the situation, I gotta be honest with you. The person you're talking to is not trying to help you. Sorry. They're not trying to help. No, they're messy boots. They're messy. Because there's no way can someone advise you in a relationship and all they want to talk about is what you're not doing, you're not saying, what you're not. If all you want to talk about is one part of the relationship, because a relationship takes two people. If they're only advising you of what the other person should be doing, no, they're not trying to help you. They're really not. They're doing a lot of pandering. They're probably saying things that you want to hear. They probably be agreeing with all the bullshit you're doing. I'm sure that they're totally 100% in your corner because, of course, you do no wrong. You are perfect. And if you believe that, you're delusional. And the person that's helping you is not trying to help. Because you see, the person who's trying to help you is going to be honest. They're going to be truthful. They're going to ask you, what part did you play in this breakdown in this relationship or this issue or this concern? What part are you playing? If there is not one bit of analysis on what you are doing in this relationship, not just the other person, but what you're doing or what you did or what you're not doing, I'm sorry, but it's setting you up for failure. They're looking to dismantle your relationship. They're not helping. I don't care what they say. I don't care what they believe. I don't care about none of that. The actions are speaking. The actions are speaking. There's no way somebody who's interested in support of your relationship is going to only talk about one side of their relationship. Because there's 2 points of view in the relationship. So if somebody's trying to help you come to a solution or a resolution or stop a problem before it becomes a problem, excuse me, then they're going to analyze what's going on inside the relationship. There's going to be probably 2 points of view and then a third point of view on the us or the we. If you never hear them use the words that are inclusive of your relationship, oh, let me tell you, they're not trying to help. They're not trying to help. They're not. You can't analyze a relationship. You can't talk about what's going on without talking about the 2 points of view, the 2 individuals. There's always a saying. It's a saying. There's 3 sides of the story. So what's 3 sides of the story, right? Person A side, person B side, and then somewhere in the middle is the truth. And if they're not trying to analyze that with you, they're not using inclusive words about y'all relationship, you guys together, they're not trying to help. They actually, they sound like they're trying to destroy. Honestly. That's what it sounds like, honestly. If you don't believe that, you don't have to. I don't care if you believe it or not. If they're not assisting you in understanding 2 sides of you, 2 points of view, of you and the other person, they're really not trying to help you. They're really not trying to help you, which is why I go back to my original belief. Keep family and friends, for the most part, out of your relationships. Because some of them, or a lot of them, are not going to give you good advice for your relationship. They can give you good advice for you, but not for the relationship. Relationship got 2 parties, 2 points of view. I'm not missing anything here, but let me tell you something. If you're getting advice from a person who only does it with your point of view, you're missing a whole lot. You're missing a whole lot. And that relationship, if that continues in that direction, is doomed to fail. It is doomed to fail. Be careful who you go to for friendship, relationship, any kind of relationship advice. Like I said, it could be parental, romantic, just friendships, whatever it is, platonic, whatever. Be careful who you go to. It's a lot of messy people out here. Messy, messy, messy. And all they want to do is have something to talk about. Right? They're not happy. You heard misery loves company. So be careful who you're talking to about your relationships. Back to my original belief. Listen. Don't be talking to people about your relationships. For real. Don't be talking to people about your relationships. Listen, go to the man upstairs, go to God. Like I said, go to clergy. Y'all want to do therapy together? Knock yourself out. But the person you're going to is only advising you on one point of view in that relationship, and it's just your point of view. Run fast in the opposite direction. And remember not to go back to them ever again. At least not for this situation. I'm telling you, it will ruin your relationship. It will. It will. Because when you only have the ability to see one point of view, and then not only do you have the ability, that may happen to us. We get caught up in ourselves sometimes, and we see just one point of view. But at some point, you don't have the ability to see the other person's point of view or their perception of a situation. It's a lose-lose situation, boo-boo. Lose-lose. I'm telling you, it's a lose-lose. So be careful, really careful about who you go to about relationship advice. I can't stress that enough. I can't tell you how many friends and family members of mine have come to me to give relationship advice. And I'll be honest with you, I'm more inclined to say, I don't want to get involved in your relationship. You might need to go elsewhere to get some advice on that. And if I do want to get involved because I really care about the person's relationship, like that being strong and staying together, I do have some friends and family members that have really strong relationships. And everybody has issues at times. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm going to advise somebody, I'm going to advise them for the benefit of both parties. Not just one party, not just the person I'm talking to, but on both parties. What's going to benefit them? Because it's only right. It's only right. It's only fair. And if you want to give good advice, you got to deal with the entire situation, not just one point of view. I want to be honest about that. You just can't give advice on one part. You have to at least want to break down what your part in the situation is, what your role is in the breakdown of whatever's going on in the relationship. Because it may not be your fault. It's not about assessing faults either. Look, it's not about faults. It's about accepting your role and what transpired. Just being accountable, self-awareness. And believe me, I know accountability is a big catchphrase these days. Because we have grown people walking around who don't want to take accountability for their actions, for their sayings, and for their doings. They want to think that whatever they do and say is okay. It's not. And I'm not going with that bullshit, because it's not. But accountability is big. Self-awareness is big. If you can't have that, and if you don't have that, you need to work on that. Because you can't be in no relationship with somebody else. And first of all, if you're not even accountable to yourself, how are you going to be accountable to somebody else? If you're not aware of yourself, can you really be aware of somebody else? No. So, as I was saying, people, just be careful of who you go to for relationship advice. The relationship is a two-way street. It goes in both directions. Multiple points of view, 2 points of view at least. Could be more. You have to make sure you're getting good advice for the relationship. Not just for you, for the benefit of the relationship. And again, if they're not doing that, if they're not offering that kind of solace or that information, or those points of views, or those different talking points to bring up when you initially talk to the partner, or next time you talk to the partner, because honestly, that's probably the first person after God or before God. I don't know how you want to work that, but somewhere in there, that should be one of the initial conversations or problems talked about in between the two people involved in the relationship. Yeah. That's the primary place to start. And then from there, you can look outside. If you're not getting resolution and solution there, then you go outside to that. I think God and the person is kind of like 1, 2, 1A, 1B, something like that. Then everybody else, if necessary. I wouldn't even necessarily even go into anybody else. But again, I'm a firm believer and keep that circle really small as far as talking about your relationships. Okay? I mean, problems anyway. I mean, everybody want to talk about how great things are, and they want to show off and do all that kind of stuff. But when it comes to problems and you're facing some difficulties, it got to be somebody who's really wants you guys to win, and not somebody who's just sitting in the wins, they miserable with their life. Their person is acting out in the street, running the street ass all out, If that's what they doing and that's something you don't want to be involved in, I wouldn't even go into some for no advice. Let's keep it a buck. I'm not doing it. So listen, I had to get that. I wanted to get that out because it was really after some conversations I've had this week. I really want to talk about that and want to stress that as much as possible. Just be careful who you talk to about your relationship. It's a very sacred thing, I think, between two people. If you're having problems, do your best to talk to each other and work them out. And if not, get God. You want to pray on, pray on it. And like I said, 1A, 1B. But let's get it done. It has to. You have to go to somebody who wants to see you win. You know what I'm saying? Anybody else is just, it's not going to do it. It's a recipe for disaster, for failure, for the ending of that relationship. Okay? Plus, on top of that, if the other person gets wind that you're outside running your mouth to other people about your relationship, it's going to cause a level of resentment. It may not be no coming back from that. It may not be no coming back because now you're taking vulnerable points and parts of their person and y'all relationship and getting that out into the street. Where they do that at? Unfortunately, they do that a lot of places these days. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Let me take that back because I hate that saying. It's not is what it is. We have to do better. I ain't gonna bullshit you. We gotta do better. We have to do better. Grown folks, adults, we gotta do better. We gotta do better. Better for our communities, better for our children, better for the whole world involved, my G. We gotta do better. That's all. Thank you very much for tuning in. Everybody who came in and visited with me on this live. I'm gonna be jumping in like probably once a week when a topic hits me that I think I want to talk about and expound on, and make sure it helps even one person to get through a situation, some encouragement, inspiration, motivation, whatever you want to call it. I'm gonna hop in here at least once a week. And if you have any topics you want me to touch on, listen, leave it in the comments. Okay? You got some topics you want me to comment on and come in on the live, leave it in the comments and I'll let you know whether or not something I want to tackle or not. But listen, you guys be blessed. Have a blessed day. And always try to vibe on them good ones. All right? You guys be blessed. Peace.